Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this issue of coming from a privileged home versus not having that privileged background, of people coming from a poor or disadvantaged communities, and what kind of opportunities are available to them. And is it a good thing to identify with privilege or poverty? Because poverty does gives you that drive to achieve beyond your imagination. But let me come to you, Talk. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't agree that poverty gives you the drive to achieve anything great.
Thank you.
I strongly believe that poverty limits the reach you can have because you cannot even see the possibilities.
Bam.
So the middle class have an advantage because they might not be as rich as NEPO, they are not as poor as LAPO. So at that place, they can still see opportunities because they can see the rich and aspire and be driven to achieve that kind of success. And they can see the poor and say, I would never go there. But you see, when people have nothing, there's no other option. Like I can't fall below where I am. When people have nothing, it's easy to take advantage of them. It's easy to buy their womb, to buy their sperm, buy their kidney, buy their life. They kill each other, buy their mind. With a kilo of rice, they will buy their mind. So when we think that poverty would give people drive, it means that it will give them drive to do anything to achieve the barest minimum because they cannot even believe it is possible to go higher. It is why it is important that we create this level playing ground for everybody so that there is access to education, because the only thing that can bring opportunity and growth is if everybody has access to quality education. Education breeds exposure. What NEPO has, that's the people that are extremely wealthy, is that they have quality education and they have quality
freedom.
Network. They have those two. The middle class might not have the network, but they will have quality. They will struggle to give their children quality education. The education gives them leverage. And if we look at the wealthiest, there was a time in the world, maybe like 100 years ago, when you take census of wealthy people around the world, they are all from abject poverty. But because they were in countries and environments that gave access to education, they became very wealthy. But in this world of today, if you look at the wealthiest people in the world right now, none of them were from poverty. None, Morayo, none of the wealthiest in the world, today, statistically, were from poverty. But 100 years ago, the Carnegies were from poverty. Ford was poverty, like ridiculous poverty. But they were able to rise because they had access to education and that drive. While now, what we have is, if you do not have access to education, quality one, and a little bit of money to buy that comfort, there's crisis. So the expectation is that if we want change, if we want a country that appreciates and encourages the productivity that is available, the creativity available in all Nigerians, we need to make that opportunity for education available to everybody. If not, the creativity will be to be killing somebody and to be stealing from the other person.
Way. Let me take this call from Hassan. He's been holding for a minute. Good morning, Hassan. You're live. Thanks for calling you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Hassan, that's awesome.
Go ahead.
My own view on the subject matter is, I tend to look at the student from a low background as having an edge. Because right from the word go, they know they don't have. As such, they will have that desire to excel in whatever field they decide to embark on. While on the other hand, those from a well-to-do background, though they have the key, the assets, wealth is the key or asset, they tend to slack. And at a point, the wealth will not become a hindrance. So, in summary, I feel the children that are coming from a low background, if mentored properly, have better chance to excel than those coming from a well-to-do background. So that's my own view. And in conclusion, please, I want to appeal to Madam Tope. She keeps organizing programs in Lagos. What about we in Jos? Dr. Kolawole Ojo at one time brought 30 cash to Jos. He spent 3 powerful days in Jos. So, Mariam, you are our representative.
I will tell her.
Fantastic. You've given her the clues. Please go to try for it. So, you see, there's something I like to bring out here, because we somehow, and I don't think we're doing it here though, we demonize poverty like, oh, it's a horrible thing. Sometimes poverty is catapults you or pushes you to a point where you feel that there's something better. It gives you that inherent drive to say there's something better, because we make it look as if once you're poor, it is the worst thing that can happen to you.
Okay,
but poverty
Morayo.
actually can be flipped, because
Morayo,
everybody who's what those we were talking about earlier, that people who are rich, some had that level of poverty, and they actually aspired because they wanted to solve a problem
At their time.
and they realized that life could be better than where they are. So if we continue
To demonize.
to demonize it, maybe therefore people will just rather just hide in their cocoon. If they come and say, you know what, I need help.
Okay, so let me tell you why, as noble as this sounds, is simplistic, because you're looking at poverty as just the lack of money. But it's beyond that. It's because that lack of money comes with a lot of other social ills and challenges that you have to go through. And you're also looking at wealth or privilege as just money. So let's say, have you heard of those names that maybe they are great-grandparents, maybe they had so much money, but the money isn't there, but yet they're able to walk into places and doors are open just because of that name. That's what privilege does for you. That's the sort of wealth we're talking about, that it supersedes just that material money. You have built network, you have built support, you have built influence. Poverty denies you of everything.
Thank you.
It denies you of the financial money, it denies you of social standing, it denies you of confidence. Do you understand? That is what real poverty does. And where Tokwe talked about people who have come like generations past, and she's talking of America, definitely, because in today's world in Nigeria, many people have come from poverty. But I was just trying to say where it made a difference then. Education came, was introduced, and that gave some people a leverage to stand on, where they could not stand on family name, they could not stand on money, they would stand on education. And so that's where we are today, that if you give a poor person education, you have enriched that person. That person is no longer absolutely poor.
Yes.
So that's part of that wealth we're talking about. Now, you talk of those who have raised themselves out of poverty.
Yeah.
It's usually, if you hear their stories, it's usually an encounter, either with a wealthy, and I'm not talking actual money, person or experience or something. I remember this book I read, and the mother worked as a nanny in the house of the rich, and she saw how they read books, how their children read books. She learned that thing that privileged people were doing, and she introduced it into her poor home. Now that seed from there is what helped open the doors. Her children began to read, and they now grew up to be successful people. So poverty in itself should be demonized, should be, and it should be demonized in the sense, not demonized and say poor people are bad, but it should ring in our system, in our leaders' minds, that it's such a terrible place to be, and whatever it is that we can provide to give people a platform that they can raise themselves out of that, that's what we need to do.
Okay, let me take this call. I'll come to you, BC. Good morning. Thanks for calling. You're live. Okay, I think I lost that call. Go ahead.
Poverty is a demon. You can't even run away from. Let's call it what it is, because it rapes your mindset. Someone who has the mindset of poverty would constantly be in survival mode. And what do you do when you're surviving? It's dog eats dog. We even see it in the midst of rich people who have somewhat gotten that material wealth, but they're still poor in their mindset.
Yeah.
And they're still, how do you explain somebody who is amassing wealth for generations upon generations, yet unborn? Irrespective of the fact that that wealth is supposed to go around and cater to the people that you are seeing, you are saving for generations. It's poverty of the mindset. So poverty is just, like Mariam rightly said, beyond the physical cash in your pocket. It rapes you to the extent where you can sell your body parts just because you want to survive. You can push anybody down just because you want to survive. That is not the world that we're trying to build. So poverty should be demonized. And one of the best ways, like Tokwe rightly mentioned again, to lift people out of poverty. And that's why you see there's a difference between the developed world, like they like to call themselves, with us. When you come there, you see that there's a level playing field for the majority of the people, right? Now, people can now find jobs that they love doing without any form of pressure. That is what wealth gives to you. An opportunity to choose. You decide, okay, I want to be a chef. Nobody is chasing me. I want to go for my dreams. And I'm going to be fulfilled doing my dreams, right? Poverty does not give you that. You find yourself getting into different things that rip you of your health, your mental well-being, just because you want to survive and build something. So when it... Okay.
Let me go on a short break, because I think there's a part of this, getting. Let me go on the very short. When we come back, I'll try to explain better. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.